Hey friends, Kelly here. Today I'm working on a page in my Project Life book. I'm still trying to catch up on 2017 and it is currently May of 2020. And the reason why I tell you that is because this page was one that I had really put off for a long time. It was talking about when we found out we were pregnant, and we had been trying for about 5 years. And sadly we lost that baby at week 10. And I just was I didn't know how I wanted to approach this page because I am scrapbooking after the fact, but I still wanted to represent the joy that we felt in that moment. So it really took me a long time to come to this. So at any rate, let's jump into it. So what I've done so far is just shuffled around through the papers, and now I'm just trimming up my photos to get everything lined up. This whole entire year I have been printing photos in 3 formats: 4x6 with no border, 4x6 with a white border, and then these smaller square photos, which they're not quite 2x2, they're a little off, but I like the scale of them. And then those always have a little white border. If I want to trim it off, I can, but most of the time I leave it. And I really like the variants of those. So I'm going through the cards again because I'm not so sure about the 4x6 that I have selected. It was a 6x8 page that I cut in half, and it's a little too warm with the wood grain gray paper. So I've gone back through the cards and I've pulled out these other 3x4 cards, and then I have this 6x8 page that says the story documented, and I realized that that will make a great journal spot. This story is going to be a little longer, a little more journaling than I'm typically known for, so I'm going to need more space. So I've decided I'm going to go ahead and put that card in, and then I just keep swapping out the 3x4s, and ultimately I do end up going with the wood grain and then the one that looks like notebook paper, and that's final. I think I try and fiddle with them once or twice more, but I've probably edited that out for you because honestly I kept going back and forth with these papers. It also was 6 in the morning, which I never wake up that early, but I couldn't sleep anymore, so I decided to take advantage of the quiet time. So you can see I've swapped out that 4x6 up in the corner, and now I really like how that's all working. And I've moved into looking through the die cuts. There are so many with this kit. Oh, I should mention, I am using a Citrus Twist kits. This was December of 2018 kit. It is sadly no longer available, but I highly recommend Citrus Twist kits. They're packed full of greatness. The design is awesome because there's so much versatility, and you can really get a lot out of the kits. So I've gone through the die cuts, and I spared you of having to watch me go through all of them because there are so many. But I've picked out a few, and I've already decided that I'm eliminating half of the ones I have chosen. And I've brought in this teal tiny phrase stickers. I saw one on here that I thought was perfect. It says, "It's about time." Or, yeah, I think it's about time. And I thought that was perfect for the story because that's exactly how I felt. I've moved into finally getting everything settled. I kind of have picked out my color scheme, and what I'm going to do next is pull out my little die cutting machine, and I'm going to cut out some labels. And I had looked at the labels that were already in the kit, but I want 3, and there wasn't 3 of the same color. There usually isn't, so I've decided I'm just going to go ahead and make 3 of my own. I love this little die machine. It is so handy to have. I do have my Big Shot still, but I pull this thing out far more frequently, and it actually has gotten me to start using my dies again and purchasing new ones, which I never thought I would do, especially since I sold most of them in a garage sale several years ago. So now I'm going to start placing down my elements, and I keep this page pretty simple actually. I don't add a lot of die cuts or really many other elements than you're already seeing here. I do like placing things a little off kilter sometimes. I think it adds a little interest. Also, I'm not very good at putting things straight, so it kind of helps hide that. And I'm also pulling from that 3x4 card that looks like notebook paper that has the white blocks that are kind of askew. I like that look, and I want to continue that through the rest of the page. I also really like this stacked 3-box little die cut piece, and I'm gonna use that. And so again, I like the way it's off skew. Now I've gone through and I am placing these little tabs, and it kind of bugged me that there weren't 3 that I could use. There was 3, or rather were, there were 3 in the kit, but the third one was like a light blue color, and I didn't want to pull that extra color in. So I'm just gonna have to deal with it and make it work. So I've gone ahead and I've decided that this is going to be the final, and I've already tried, I even had already pulled out another 3x4 card and tried it and put it away, and I cut that all out of the video so you didn't have to watch me hem and haw. It was painful to get this page, to get the papers picked out for this page. I don't know why it was so difficult for me to just get it done. So now I'm incorporating in the teal stickers, and sometimes it's really easy for me to find words that work for the spread. Sometimes I find myself really trying to be too literal, and I need to let go of that. I think I did a pretty good job on this week's spread by just putting down phrases that just kind of captured the overall feeling of the week. So again, I like to put things a little askew, so that worked out here. I'm going to go ahead and do that on my 4x6 at the bottom, and then I'm going to take advantage of those little white blocks on the 3x4 that looks like the notebook paper, and I'm going to use those as part of my little embellishment here. Next thing is I want to pull in more of that. It's not quite black, it's more like a charcoal. I want to pull more of that in, and so I've pulled out one of the cards from the kit that has the color, and I've started pulling it apart. I'm also going to use the grid piece for some extra journaling here on the pink card. I did go back in the die pack and pulled out this bigger piece that says collecting memories. I fiddle with that top 4x6. I don't necessarily love how the pink label and the little black word are stacked on top of each other, but there really was no better placement. You can see the bottom photo, there's just a big open space that the tab and the tag fits perfectly. It just makes sense to put it there and not cover up what the photo is. And then same thing on my 4x6 at the top. Underneath that tag, as you can see, there's like a little blue spot from the lights, and I really wanted to just cover that up. So I'm going back in and using the bits left over from this 3x4 card, and I am trimming it up to add it into the spread as kind of like a little extra banner piece. And putting that right behind the pink tags kind of gives me, it helps so that the pink tag doesn't look so plain. And I just go ahead and use my tiny attacher to staple those together. I love that thing, honestly. Probably one of my favorite tools in all of the things I own. I kind of played with the idea of flipping that grid card over, but in the end I didn't like it. So I went ahead and put that one down. And I'm just going to do a little bit of journaling eventually on that piece, just kind of talking about the other photos besides the story of finding out we were pregnant. I also made sure to tilt the piece that says collecting memories just a little bit above that grid piece, just to continue that theme of everything being off a little bit. Next, I'm going to work on my title card, and I'm going to use my date roller stamp and be very careful to make sure that I only capture the month and day. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone ahead and stamped the whole thing, and while it's not that big of a deal to include the year, it's just I don't like it. So especially when I'm putting it on something that I can't change, like this little tag, I want to try to be specific. Of course, I can't line anything up straight with these. I don't know if there's a trick. If you have a trick to roller stamps and getting them straight, please share below, because I am clueless with these. I think they are purposely designed to look messy, which I'm okay with, but that could just be me. Next, I'm going to pull out my Alpha stamps from, this one is a Studio Calico from a stamp subscription I've had for quite some time. I really like this set. I go to it a lot. I wish it was just a tad bit bigger, but it's okay. When I place the stamps down, I usually put, if it works out for size-wise, I will put the F in place of the second E in the word week, and then I have to remember to pull it out. I can't tell you how many times I've stamped the word and I've put WEFK. So that's a struggle. Thankfully, I remembered this time. So I go ahead and I stamp down week, and then I'll just pop in that second E. And I would like to say that I purposely made them a little askew to continue that theme, but no, I'm just terrible at stamping and I can't get it straight, even when I use a guide. So I just go with it. And then I love this stamp set because it has numbers and I don't have to try to find a different number set to pull in. And I like the sizes to match, so this works out great. I want to add something else to the title card to tie in all the colors. So I go back to the phrase stickers and I find something that works. I'm also going to pull in another one of those pink tags, and then another one of the tabs. And I had played around with putting that tab in somewhere else on the page. I had taken it out and now I've gone ahead and incorporated it back in. Next, I'm going to do my journaling and also drink my cold coffee. When I'm journaling, I end up having to pause quite a bit because I want to make sure that I, try not to misspell words, but mostly I don't think ahead what I want to write. I just start writing and then I get stuck. And that happens to me on both of these journaling spots. I kind of got stuck because I realized I said something differently than it was in my head. And when that happens and I'm handwriting it, honestly, most of the time I'll just go ahead and cross it out or write over it. As you can see on the 4x6, I wrote a word, that or this, and I just, whatever, just cross it out. I also don't plan ahead to make sure that all of my journaling will fit, so I'm usually squeezing stuff in by the end. So that is it. This page is complete. I just have to go ahead and stick all the cards in, which I do have to end up trimming quite a few of them. I always forget when I trim the papers that I need to be mindful that they're not a true 4 inches or 3 inches. And I need to do some trimming. So I go ahead and I finish that all up and call it done. When I sat down to do this page and started with the original papers, I did not foresee the end result being more on the cool tones, but I really do love how this worked, and I'm glad I finally got this page done and in my book. So thanks for watching, and if you like this video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up, and I would love if you would subscribe to my channel, and then finally hit that little bell so that you get notifications when new videos are posted.